Okay. Just as always, give me 1 second to have a YouTube video and comments pop up, which as we see today takes a bit longer. Come on, YouTube. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna start saying hi to everyone. Hi everyone, welcome to our weekly live discussion of yesterday's Sunday service. As always, with me here are Laurentiu, Michaela, Rivati, and my name is Denisa, for everyone who doesn't know me, because it says Twin Flames Universe under my picture, but that is not my name. Yes, I absolutely loved yesterday's service, and I think I'm just going to dive right into one of the juiciest messages from Jeff and Gia's sermon, which has to do with latent wealth and income, and how that relates to how much like a life force and your mastering life force. And one thing that they said in regards to that is that income is how much life force you can channel right now, and latent wealth is how much life force you are able to keep around you. And I think that's like just simply a very powerful statement that like really, gives us a really deep insight into our relationship with money and abundance, and how life force and our master of life force plays into that. So I'm kind of, curious to just like hear from everyone what that like brought up for you, and what realizations you had following that powerful statement.
Well, I think I can go first. For me, it really brought up the fact that the more you do the inner work, the more you do the mirror exercise and heal your blocks, as they said there, like healing your blocks actually helps you to discipline yourself. So the more you discipline yourself, the higher your vibration grows. And that's what I really enjoy about is that it's again like it brings a deeper understanding about vibration for me. And it's how you grow even deeper the vibration, how you understand the vibration. And even if before I knew, I kind of had this understanding of like, okay, I know there's always a vibration that how much money you can have around you. That's basically how I knew it. But now with how they said it with the life force, it really brought me even more awareness, even deeper into the awareness of like, yes, depending of my life force, how disciplined my life force is, I can I can really like have abundance, have money, and keep it as well. And really, another two things came from this. One that if I use all my life force, I can get a lot of money, but if I'm not disciplined enough, everything will just gonna go to waste very fast because I'm not able to maintain it. And the second thing is that if your life force is yeah, if your wealth for the life force basically to how much you have around you, it's at a certain vibration, it's at a certain discipline level, let's say. Basically, like you can use money and it's easy for you to create at the same vibration, so you never get underneath that. So I kind of experience even that with in my life, that now that I got at a certain vibration, I discipline myself at a certain point, my life force, I'm able to maintain vibration of an amount, let's say, of wealth around me without being hard, actually being easy because I healed that. So it's kind of interesting that even whatever I do, I keep go around it. Of course, and the more inner work I do, the more I can grow there. So it's kind of nice because it's never about like, okay, I'm going to get from the same place the same money, but no, God is giving me the money, so it doesn't matter. Even if I go in a different place, God will provide me with what my vibration says, with what my life force says. So that's the juiciest thing for me, that wherever you go, you'll have this life force, and
Mhm.
depending on you, how and what you will attract around you. And yeah, I just enjoy that.
Mhm.
It reminds me of when they talked about passive discipline and how, yeah, basically just that at a certain level of mastery, you automatically just have that discipline as your foundation. So you don't have to, like you said, like keep I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but keep like
Actively discipline.
yeah, because you already have achieved that level of discipline, and you can expand that level of discipline. So you're always able to multiply your wealth and your income. And yeah, I agree. I think that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, like when they brought that up, I was just like, reflecting back on my relationship with like money and my finances before I found Jeff and Chia's teaching, and then how that has changed since I've, started applying this teaching and healing my upsets and all of that. And obviously, mastering life force. And I really realized how like, like one thing that really happened pretty quickly after I started doing the mirror exercise and healing myself is that like the amount of money that I would like channel into my life increased like dramatically, be it she's just like a lot of sources, be it through my parents supporting me, money from my job, just like I basically almost like double the money I have each month pretty quickly after finding this teaching. And then another thing that also happened to me is like my entire life, I always kind of had like a lot of money, like, a lot in the sense of like it would cover everything I needed. But I was never able to save money. It was kind of like the moment I got money, it would be just like, go. I don't even know where. It was just like, oh, okay, I need to spend it on that. I need to spend it on that. It was really hard for me to save money. And that's something that in my life changed pretty recently, actually, like over the last couple of months or so. All of a sudden I just like found myself like actually saving a lot of money and never going back to like, kind of living like at the end of every month, like in the past I always like reach zero on my account, and then my new money would come in and I would be like, live for the month again. And now I actually reached that place where I always have a certain amount of money in my account that makes me feel like, secure and grounded, and like I'm not gonna, like I'm not gonna, I'm never gonna be at zero again and just have to, wait for money to come in and bridge a couple of days and stuff like that. So I definitely, like found myself having a way easier time like keeping money around me and not having it just like vanish. So yeah, that definitely just like nice.
Yeah, I relate to that. Even if I was able to manifest people supporting me or wealth coming in, even if it's me not actively earning, I wasn't able to save it or preserve it. And I was just looking through it at this through a Hindu perspective, and the goddess of wealth, who is Lakshmi, and her twin flame is Vishnu, and Vishnu is the god of the preserver. So he preserves and maintains the planet, the universe. And this is what was interesting, because it took me a while to even relate these two together, that the fact that she is with him and she is wealth was him preserving. So when they two come together, there is an abundance of wealth eternally. So it's, you preserve your wealth. And even Lakshmi, Laksh means aim. So it says purpose. So the moment you live your life purpose, you naturally attract wealth. So these are like principles. We knew this, but I'm sure I was surprised because it took me a while to even relate what Jeff and Shreya are teaching with life purpose and twin flames and everything, and putting it over here in Hinduism, which is like we've lived with this, and it took us a while that, oh, it's the same thing. Like you're to actually live your life applying this. So yeah, it felt good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like they actually said that this is ancient stuff. Actually, they're not teaching new things.
Yeah.
It's just like providing again things that they were already here. But what I loved about what you shared is that it kind of reminds me of me and Alexandra. She always had a lot of money, but they were going very fast out. And I was not having money, but I was good at preserving it. So when we got together, I'm going to shoppings because I'm not spending all the money in one go, kind of stuff. And I'm able to just get what we need and actually like preserve. And when we go together, we kind of go. We have more of a balance, like using a bit more, but not all of it. Kind of like it's kind of interesting now. At least how me and Alexandra work in this case, of uh, of us being in this way, because that's why like I was more like the one responsible with the money in the house, just like keeping it. Even at the beginning with her job, she was making it, but I was kind of keeping it, so we know it's safe, that we're not going to just buy loads of stuff. So just found it funny.
Oh, I love that. It's like you perfectly, I mean, complimented each other there, and like taught each other the part that the other person like didn't have figured out yet. I love that. Also, like speaking about all of this, because we've kind of, focused on money right now. But I found it really interesting because, when Shalia was speaking about that, after, directly, speaking mostly about money, she actually went on to, say how like it's, it actually like relates to spiritual wealth. And spiritual wealth, for me, it's not only money, it also comes, in the form of, be it friendship, support, even romance, with your twin flame, and like all of these things. And I think, it's just like important to approach wealth from a holistic, what's the word, from a holistic like standpoint, and just like see that just because you don't have millions of dollars in your bank account doesn't mean you don't have wealth. You can be wealthy in so many things. Even like health is like a very important area in your life which is like a form of wealth. And like just like applying this teaching, like I've definitely noticed how I feel so abundant in like these areas of friendship and just like love in general in my life. And that's what it's all about. And money is just like one area of those.
That actually is perfect. It reminds me of when they talked about how in heaven it's like a co-op of wealth. Like there's no like everyone shares the wealth. Like it's so true. And I loved how they used the Church of Union, your community, as an example of that, because it's like we all walk together, help each other maintain the wealth that is harmonious union, and like help each other, walk hand in hand. And like your brother's wealth is your wealth, and that's like part of like the friendships and the relationships and all of the really like wealthy things about this community, how it's a blueprint for heaven on earth. And also Shalia said that heaven and earth is already here and it's just revealing itself to us. So I thought that was really cool.
And like everything you shared applies perfectly to like when we have a new couple in harmonious union, everyone is it's like the success for the entire community. Everyone is like celebrating because we've achieved that in our collective consciousness. Not saying like obviously the people who came into harmonious union did their inner work and they did what they had to do, but it's like like we're all one. There's no separation between, as you so beautifully said, quoting Jeff and Shalia, there's no separation between us and our brother or sister. So when you see someone having success, that is actually your success too.
There was like a specific quote that Shalia, like I just thought it was so beautiful. It's about walking hand in hand with your brother. Let's see, I have it here. Maybe not.
I don't have that.
The one, extend discipline to your brothers as you walk hand in hand in
on an eternal journey.
Yes.
Yeah, it says your job is to discipline yourself and to extend discipline to your brother as you walk hand in hand on an eternal journey to love, deeper into the heart of God, so that you may enjoy the endless riches he has for you and the endless happiness. Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Also, we actually have a question from Maura and a beautiful comment from Stephanie that I would like to read. So Mora is asking, Denisa, what helped you to stabilize money and save? So, let's talk about that real quick, because I feel like that's definitely something that consciousness is like asking. That was the first question that when Jeff and Shia mentioned that came up for me too, like, how do I actually do this? And I realized like, wait, I'm actually kind of doing this already, but I didn't even realize like that I was actively doing this. And I think it's just like, I mean, the moment I really started saving money is the moment I chose to have a relationship with my finances and always look at my finances and keep track of them. So, like a couple of months ago, I really started creating this like extra thing where I put in all my finances. I just have this really intimate relationship with my finances, which also, keeping track of them and always looking at them. Also, like you can't avoid upsets around your money anymore. So you have to, heal your stuff around that and just like, and that's like a form of discipline. So it actually, oh my God, I'm realizing this right now. I didn't even realize I did that. It's actually being disciplined with my finances, which, keeping track of them is being disciplined with them. So basically, by doing that, you basically, seeing all the like inflow of life energy and where you're directing it and just being really disciplined about it, which doesn't mean that, I still sometimes it doesn't always look the way I want it to look. When I look back on the month, I'm like, oh my God, I spent so much money on this thing. Like, oh, I have to change this. But again, that's like, it's like just showing you where you still need to, apply more discipline and change some things around. But yeah, so that was actually really the thing that like changed everything around for me when it comes to my finances. Do you guys have any?
Yes.
Oh,
I do too.
I like to share too, but you can go first if you want.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with me, like I know me and Alexandra for a long time, every month we were suffering about the end of the month moment when we were like, oh my God, do we have enough money? Do we have enough money? Oh my God. And for so long since we've been together, and only after we joined LPC, we started working. We still didn't had fully, like we were still at the end of the month. We're like, oh my God, what we're gonna do? Because we're having blocks about it. We'll keep going deeper. But actually, when we became coaches, we got it was the same day that we got in Harmonious Union. So the coaching and training, the session, coaching and training, and in a way, what helped, what was for us, that since then it was 1 month until Toronto. So we wanted to go to Toronto. Alexandra didn't want it. Was like, no, we cannot go to Toronto. Wait, Denise is here because I can see.
She froze a bit.
Well, does that mean that we froze as well because she's the host? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's shown live, so it feels like it may be running.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So what happened was really like we were okay. Let's heal 2 blocks, and we had so many. Because like, how we're gonna make, for us at least, to go to Toronto? How we're gonna make $2,000 to just fly to Toronto and as well have money aside? We're like, what the heck? We never made that much money. We never had that much money in our life. So it was like really crazy in many ways for us. But we kept healing stuff. We were like, okay, we don't know what we're going to do. We're just going to do our best. We just choose to claim it. When we kept claiming it, kept healing, kept disciplining ourselves. Of course, we were looking at the finances. But the first thing, just to know, before even starting to do all the work, we started looking at the finances. Oh, okay, everything that it comes into the house, everything that we're spending, everything that we need, how much money we would need there, how much money we would need to live in Toronto, to spend for where to stay and everything else, to be just free. And as we looked at those things, we could see where we feel bad. So as we healed through everything that came up to us, we were able to not only go there, to go into Toronto and actually like be able to be there, which was a big miracle for us to just go in Toronto. But we were able to have money aside. So we had even money aside for us to just experience there, and we were actually free with the money. We were like, oh my God, how is this happening? Even like, that's kind of like, it's kind of weird. And then after we came back, we were like, okay, we actually still have money. We're like, what the heck? We didn't expected us to go to Toronto, do all of the stuff that we kind of could and desired in that moment, and come back and still have money. And actually, we were able to buy a pretty expensive laptop for Alexandra, which was like another miracle. We're like, what the heck? And the thing is
Wow.
that since then, we never look back at the end of the month. We even forgot about the end of the month. But really, an event like Toronto, it helped us to just heal so many blocks to finances that right now we don't have those issues anymore. So the answer is not necessarily just find the thing that you is just much higher than you, just heal until you get that that kind of pressures you, but more like understand that there's a lot of inner work in this and a lot of action taking, like taking action towards your finances, looking what you can do, how can you share your love, finding how you can just be more with God and kind of receive, and as well like where are you leaking your energy, what are you doing that is not okay, so that is just like not serving you, and finding more what's really what you desire to just buy, to have for yourself, to just invest in yourself. So yeah, that's kind of my side of things, and I'm just like so grateful for this work, and so grateful to Jeff and Shelia, because even like the Toronto event itself was like amazing. Just the process to get there, for me, the process to get to Toronto was like so amazing. It was just a journey, and they spoke about it. It's not important the destination as the journey. The journey is important. Like just getting to Toronto without going through the journey, without healing all those stuff, it wouldn't have made any sense. Like we would get there, but then the vibration, we couldn't maintain it. But because we went through that journey and took all those steps, we could maintain that vibration. So that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the journey. Because that's where you learn. That's where you explore. That's where you expand.
That's beautiful. And that actually is perfect. It reminds me of, I liked what they said about the mirror exercise. They said the mirror exercise will free up your life force by releasing resistance and restoring you to God's loving consciousness. So, like, the mirror exercise is the ultimate way to discipline yourself, basically, is just doing your inner work and allowing yourself to heal your finances within. I think that's really
Exactly.
cool. And I liked what you said about how finding out who you can love and how you can serve God and, like, expand your life force and expand the amount of wealth that you're able to keep around you. And then that also reminded me of something that Shalia said at the beginning. And it is not communion simply being able to love God with your whole heart and completely receiving his love in return. And that's like spiritual wealth right there. It's being able to love God always with your whole heart.
I love that. And speaking about the mirror exercise, so I was listening, I was like thinking into, just like this, like just like going deeper into how how doing the mirror exercise is freeing up your life force. And like realize, how like your life force, you like constantly channeling life force. You can't help yourself channeling life force coming through you, and you creating something with it, or like basically investing it into something. So as long as you have upsets, your life force is basically going into ego and into these like upsets. And that's why every time you hear something, you're actually letting go of that like illusion ego there, and like that life force that has been flowing into that for a very long time is now actually able to flow into love and into creating something based on love, and that is eternal and comes from God and is divine.
Exactly. And that's how, like Shalia said, anywhere you experience ego, the sole reason is because you've not known love there yet. And so your job is to love yourself there with all that you are. That's very beautiful.
Yeah. And I really like about this about this in specific, making money and just this way of living, making money, having sex with your twin flame, having uh, like material wealth and basically infinite abundance. It's basically the way that we desire to ascend, not as monks, as they were saying, Like there are
Yeah,
some that maybe desire that way, but it's not for everyone, because these were like runs by people doing stuff in it, not just staying and meditating. Like we don't have anything against that. It's perfect. Like if you desire that, go ahead. But at least for us, we like to be part of this world in this way. We like to live life with what God actually gave us and not deny the things that we have around us. Like if there weren't people to provide us internet, we wouldn't be able to right now just do this. So it's actually so important for people to interact with the world, and that's what we want. That's the lifestyle that I really enjoy so much. That in a way, I want to say that Jeff and Sheila really like shown us this way, because even we maybe we had pieces about it, but never put it together, and they just put everything together and provided like here. And we just like, oh my God, we can do that. Okay, it's actually working. Okay, now we can go forward in this way. So I really enjoy that we can have this life and we don't have to go in order to ascend to be with God just to be a monk. uh, because yes, that's a way, but what's the purpose of everything around us if everyone is just to meditate and not interact with the world, just with their spirit and not with their body? It's kind of, it wouldn't make sense, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I used, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said I agree. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I used to be that person. So I used to feel like I'm gonna become a monk when I was 15 or something. And and what seemed like a wholesome idea then was just fragments of myself. But me accepting this life, living here on earth and experiencing everything felt more whole. It felt like all parts of me, all core values of me were being able to be expressed. So even if, for example, like if I chose to be a monk and I was taking the steps and living my life like that, there were many parts of my being which were being subdued, which was like beauty and sexuality, fun, and pleasure, and these parts which are so important. It makes you like that itself is life force. So somewhere I was denying life force itself, and that felt the moment the as I kept claiming these parts of myself, it felt more full, more beauty, more health came about. Yeah, so I agree that that's so much more divine. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like Jeff and just spoke about how, discipline is freedom and discipline is the way to freedom. And I think, I do have to say, like, when it comes to like some types of discipline, especially like, like the physical type, when it comes to, like having a schedule and like taking care of your health and all that, I had a lot of resistance to that. But like the more I master that, the more actually like, I just like find that actually it feels so good to be disciplined, and actually feels really bad to not be disciplined. And that, perfectly relates to what Lisi was talking about in the message before Jeff and Shia's sermon. And she quoted this beautiful quote from one of NLPC class, I think it was 48, which said that persistence, discipline, diligence, and focus are the tools of pleasure and happiness. And like when you hear that, it like kind of sounds like, ooh, I wasn't expecting that, but that is like, it's like really the truth, because you can't, like yeah, it simply is the truth. And I think everyone who tried it out, and like went from maybe not being so disciplined in one area and then like learning how to be disciplined in that area, can like confirm that like the more discipline you have, the more freedom, pleasure, and happiness you actually have.
It's so true. And it actually reminds me of what they were saying about retirement and how retirement is actually insane, because like there's never any end to the discipline and there's never any end to like the work. And the only reason you'd have to retire is if you've imbalanced yourself so much and like spiritually exhausted yourself to where you had to like rest for the rest of your life and then start all over again. which sounds horrible. So it's, yeah, like I love the idea of you're just always in a state of discipline, and that gives you the freedom to enjoy your life and to never have to slow down and like start all over again and then just be in this big cycle. Like you can constantly have that discipline because it doesn't take from you, it actually gives to you. And you are always growing your life force rather than in this cycle of death and rebirth of losing your life force and then having it and losing it. And I love that a lot.
And that related to that, I loved how they said that your life force actually grows and expands from a state of balance, like when you're in balance. Because I think like it just like shows that like you're not increasing how much life force you can channel by like pushing and forcing yourself and exhausting yourself and trying to do more than you're capable of and overcommitting to and overworking. That's actually what is like lowering your life force. And it's actually just being in a balanced, peaceful, relaxed state that is what is increasing your life force.
Right. Like effortlessness or control, they were saying, and effortlessness gives to you. And
I really liked about that, since you just stopped a bit and
yeah, go ahead.
like your life force really like I just want to start with this, is the how they say the secret sauce. And I like to remind about the Toronto talks about the yum yum sauce,
That was so
Sorry.
funny.
Yeah, I cannot not bring that enough. It's so amazing, the yum yum sauce. Yeah, and really like how you use that life force is really important. It's either through force, either through power, kind of like how you direct it. Better said, how, because that's how they said, how you direct that. So if you direct it through through force, is basically control. So that way it will take from you, it won't actually give to you. So that's how you imbalance yourself. You're pushing yourself to do something rather than actually through power, which is effortless and it's easy. And actually, like, yes, you'll have more power, but doesn't mean it's going to be harder. Doesn't mean it's going to take more from you. It's going to be heavier. It's just going to be actually easier. It's going to be easier to live, easier to go through things in your life, easier to manifest things with power, without control. Because you don't need that. Just God, if he has the control, he knows where you have to go. You don't have to worry about that. If you just take the next step that's in front of you, it's just gonna be perfect, and you keep going like that. So I really enjoy this. Know that it's safe to just focus 100% on just everything on power and not on force, not having anything on that.
Love that.
Yeah, and your power lies in peace.
Yes.
And comes from peace.
Yeah.
And the first thing that Shelia said, he who is contented is rich.
Amen.
That is such a beautiful quote. It's really true, because if you're not, contented in your heart, and if you're not with God, because that's where your content is coming from, really, like you can have all the material riches, you want, and you're still not gonna feel like they're still not gonna make you feel good.
Yeah, like I remembered Jeff saying about this. I don't remember if it's a comment or in a video. He talked about how even if he's a multi-millionaire and he's so wealthy right now, he still knows every dollar where it's going. So it's like even if how much ever wealth you've accumulated, you still take care of every dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's actually so important to know every dollar how it's spent, because you don't really want to leak your energy. And by doing that, it's not actually controlling by looking where you're spending every dollar. By doing that, you're actually disciplining yourself to see if you actually desire to buy that thing that you spend the dollar on. It's not to control you from spending money, it's to free you from spending on things that you don't really desire, but you think they're shiny and so beautiful and they're high and oh, you want them.
Right, but they actually deplete your life force. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I had that
Yeah.
so many times, where like I thought I like wanted, like I was guided to buy something and I bought it and I just felt really bad about it afterwards. And I was like, this actually did feel really bad. I just like leaked my money away, like my energy away actually. But that's like, also that's like a way of life disciplining me to be more disciplined about my, my money, and like just like fine tune where I spend my money and all of that. And yeah, it's like okay to make, I think, yeah, the point that I want to put forth here, and at least he also mentions that it's okay to make mistakes, because like we all need to be disciplined sometimes, be it by life, be it by another person, be it by ourselves. And yeah, it's okay, to like to learn. We're all still learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that I remember Jeff saying this. He said, uh, every time you control your life force, you get sick. Illness or people who have disease have controlled their life force so much um, that you actually fell sick or become poor. Um, yeah, it showed so much of a difference. Even people who would have had controlling habits, even with their spiritual practices, can look very depleted, can feel very drained, and they may appear like like on paper they appear so diligent, so on their um, inner work, but in a way they were controlling their inner work also. So just seeing that difference in that also. Yeah.
Yeah, really having even more awareness and discipline towards yourself to see how you're actually doing the inner work. What is the purpose of you doing the inner work? Because this is something that, in a different way, Alexandra was teaching me lately about. There was some things that I like to do, maybe like playing, in a certain video game, or like playing in a certain way a video game, and like she was like, no, don't do that, that's not good. And I was like, why is not good, why isn't kind of, she was like, okay, disciplining me there. But as I got disciplined there, and after some time, after some more inner work with other things, I got back to that thing. But it wasn't that thing, that style of playing was bad, but I basically had no purpose. I was just doing it because nothing. So I was just leaking my energy because I was without a purpose doing it. But now when I came back after I've been disciplined, I was able to have a purpose. So now I understand why I desire to go that way, instead of just following blindly, following without knowing what I'm following. So you have to really find your purpose within yourself here to understand, that the manner of like love, to understand that you're doing this for a greater purpose than just, I do this just to do this, I do this just to please others around me or something like this. So that's something that I realized
Good
from.
point. Mm.
um, thank
I love that. Um, let me see if I have anything else in my notes that is.
I wanted to bring up one more thing. I liked how Jeff talked about in heaven there's no such thing as size, space, or time. And those are all egoic concepts, because there's no such thing as lack and no such thing as comparison. And so that's why like wealth in heaven is a co-op of wealth. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
Well, just that like, because your life force is constantly expanding, but it's not like getting bigger, because it can't get bigger, like because size is not real. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. What I like about this, what you're sharing now, is really the fact as well that us, how we cooperate, is actually through our uniqueness as well. Because even if you think about this community, as you're sharing at some point, Nicola, what Jeff and Sheila said, like, even if you think about, I know, people in Harmonious Union, Ascension coaches, everyone is unique, and everyone has their own unique skills that bring to the table, just their own self there. So that's why by helping your neighbor, he's not taking from you, he's giving to you, because he's just going to do the things that you don't like to do. You're going to do the things that they don't like to do. So therefore, it actually brings to you. It's never taking from you. It's actually like you grow together, because in that way, you have a balance rather than just growing this side and this side is just down.
Yeah.
This way, you're both growing and you're both going together. And I see this even if in how I work with you, Michaela, like how we work in the church, like really
Mhm.
like balancing and really like rising a bit
A
in a way that,
partnership.
yeah, it's a partnership, so we don't compete with each other. Even like
Yeah.
the Michaela are ascension coaches, we don't compete with each other in that way. We just help each other if it is to grow each other. So yeah.
Mhm.
So true. That's true wealth and abundance.
Mhm. Yeah, you know, it's like really beautiful how in truth, there really is no such thing as competition. And, you know, obviously there's such a thing as like, you know, you could call it like healthy competition, where like someone else's success can like drive you to,
Divine
Yeah.
competition.
divine competition.
Right.
Exactly.
Divine competition.
But like the way, you know, like we right now, like the word perceive competition is like you being against someone, and someone, you know, like it's kind of like we have this like good, and like the question, who gets to that good first. But like, you know, with divine competition, we see that like your good is your good, and your brother's good is his good, and your sister's good is her good, and you can't take someone else's good. So like, what are you even there's nothing to compete on or about.
Right.
And also because, you know, again, with the like the co-op, it's like everything is everyone's. It's like, why would you even compete? Because like your success
Exactly.
is not taking away from my success, or your abundance is not taking away from my abundance. It actually adds to my abundance and my success.
Yeah, it reminded me of an LPC class. He said, you compete with another, but you don't compete against another. So it felt good, like it. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
It's like encouraging more discipline. Like it encourages people to become more disciplined and to expand. Always. Yeah.
Also, this kind of reminded me of the Sunday service. I think it was 2 weeks ago, where they talked about the prodigal son story. Like when the younger son that had left came back, and like the older son was like, you know, all upset and everything. Like, why are you throwing this big feast for my brother who was gone all this time? And like God said to him, like, you know, you have all of my good is your good. You have all of it, but this like brother of yours came back, and he added, like, you know, like the joy he's bringing back is like your joy too. He's actually adding to the joy we have in heaven. It's like, yeah, you know, that's why we're like, I mean, you know, we're all ascension coaches, and like Vivati, I think in your case you're about to be an ascension coach, and I think that's
Yeah.
you know, what our like driving purpose is, that like we know like we can't, like we don't have complete heaven on earth if like anyone is left behind. Like in a perfect heaven on earth, everyone is part of it, every one of God's children. And we know that by us extending our love and extending God's kingdom to our brothers and sisters, we enrich our experience, everyone's experience of heaven on earth.
Amen.
I love that.
Yeah, that was the big realization when we had our first TFAS meet, like the really big one in New York, more than a year ago. And I just like, you know, realized like heaven on earth just on my own wouldn't be fun. Like I don't want it to be just me and my twin flame and okay, good, like it's the two of us, like for eternity. Like I want to be with all of my brothers and sisters and all of my family.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Moment of integration.
Gotta integrate all that juicy stuff. Yeah.
So it's safe to choose to be disciplined and to discipline others around you. It's safe to choose to be balanced in your life every moment. And it's just safe to do the mirror exercise and heal your
Yeah.
blocks.
And it's safe to expand your spiritual income and your spiritual wealth always. There's no end to your life force.
I love
Yeah.
one thing that Vivati, you go first.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that Shilia says, I'm sorry, no, Jeff says that um, like better, it's better if you grow. It's not that it's too much to handle. So growing doesn't mean that it's too hard to handle it or maintain it. It's just that it's better. And yeah, it feels like very relieving is that it feels peaceful and feels good. So it's safe to grow and become expansive. Mm.
Yeah. And about this, it's really like, it's not that you're going to grow physically to the infinite. It's,
Because size, yeah.
exactly the size. You're just going to become a giant on here. But anyway, like the universe is infinite, but like this is more like a spiritual understanding for our spiritual plane. Basically, just understand that that's where we grow infinitely. That's where it makes sense to do that, because it wouldn't make sense someone just becoming like a giant and become bigger than Earth and then just finding it's Earth, the big Earth for him that he will feel fit on. It wouldn't make any sense. So it's
That's
actually like
funny.
it's just I know because I was thinking about that when they were saying. I was like, growing to the infinite. So how it would be to just sit on Earth with one leg? Because I don't know
When
that
you were
leg.
talking about that, I just saw like this like giant standing on Earth and like the planet like slowly sinking in space because like you're too heavy.
But where does it sink? That's
I
the
mean, yeah,
problem.
that's the question. I don't
Infinite,
know.
the infinite and beyond.
Goes into a black hole.
Oh
And then
no.
you destroyed planet Earth by like growing too big. Shame on you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. And like I think Jeff put it away. He said that like apply spiritual concepts to spiritual realms.
Yes.
Because otherwise it just doesn't make sense. So like yeah, we're all gonna stay in the same size, everyone, chill, don't freak out. We're not gonna grow in body size. But yeah, I love that. And, like also like I found in my notes, like they said that like there's no stop in heaven, there's only flow, only movement, and only expansion.
Yeah, amen.
That's like such a weird. I've been thinking about this like basically kind of eternity over the last 2 or 3 days, and how like it's like so hard to like wrap your mind around like the fact that we're going to be constantly growing. Because I think somewhere in my mind I kind of feel like, well, wait, sometime like we're going to run out of stuff that we can do.
Let's go.
Let it go.
Yeah, I
Remember,
choose let that go.
remember, there's no such thing as not enough.
Mm.
Like there's no such thing of like getting like, oh, it's not gonna be enough for everyone because you have so much. That's just a lie that the ego tells you. There's always
Yeah.
enough.
I'm definitely aware of that. It's like I've actually like I've been doing a lot of inner work around this and just like accepting like eternity and accepting that like it's like possible to feel good and feel joy and happiness and love all of eternity, and it's never gonna be boring or run out of juice.
Yeah, exactly. Because like it's never your job to realize where does that juice come from? How does that juice gonna come into my life? How everything is gonna be enough? That's not our job to figure out how all these things are gonna be. We cannot see, but once we take the next step, we'll find how it is enough for the thing that we're doing now, and then for the next thing, and for the next thing, and keep like that. So we're not never gonna have to even look there. And the more you're gonna realize that, oh, that's not my responsibility, the more you can just flow with it, the easier it's gonna be. Because you're not gonna be in constant stress trying to be God and trying to provide for yourself, trying to manifest in thin air things that you want from God, kind of, that you desire. You don't have that. That's God's job, and God can do His job. So here it's always safe to trust God in His job.
Yeah, I choose to trust God, and I'm just realizing it's like this belief that God is in some way limited. So I believe that I'm somewhere limited. I choose to see that I'm unlimited, and I go off any belief in limitation. That feels good.
Perfect.
Amen.
Gong time.
Hmm?
Gong time.
I guess so. Actually, the one thing I still want, the last thing I want to bring up, because I think this is like really, I just loved it so much, is Shalia was saying how all genius and success comes from mastery of your life force energy.
Yeah.
And that's, just like, Michaela, you want to say something to it? Or?
Oh no, I was just saying,
Okay.
yeah, love that.
Yeah, I think that's just like a good thing for, to actually like end this with, and for everyone to just, just be aware of that and just keep that in mind, that like, like your success and comes from mastery of life force energy, which comes from discipline.
Amen.
And you can choose to discipline yourself, and you can choose to master life force, to disciplining your life force, and that's a choice that is very powerful, and you can just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. I choose it.
Me too.
Amen.
Amen. Well, with that, I feel complete here. So thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you, Lorenzi, Michaela, and Brivati, for your input and this rich and juicy discussion. And
Denisa.
Thank you.
And Denisa.
Thank you,
Yes.
Denisa. I love you. You did a good job today. I'm proud of you. Thank you everyone. And then, we will be back next week again, same time, same day. And I'm looking forward to that. And everyone have a wonderful rest of your day.
Beautiful.
Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.